Hey, podcast listeners, it's Leah with another Roundtable replay. So, when the going gets tough, we need collective restoration. And I would say right now, the going is very tough. Humans are social creatures. So, the question I have that I've been pondering is how do we actually foster support and connection with one another when physical connection, is strictly warned against? So in this week's replay, I'm highlighting the work of author and researcher, TED Talk Top 20 speaker Kelly McGonigal, who's a psychologist from Stanford, and she studied the mental health benefit of movement and the ways it causes us to deepen connection with one another. I loved what she had to say so much that I'm actually recommending two different podcasts. So pick and choose. One is Being Well, from the Being Well podcast with Rick Hansen, and the other is the One Part podcast with Jessica Morano. Honestly, I bet you've got some time on your hands right now to do some long solitary walks. So these long play podcasts might come in handy. Am I right? Probably. The two big takeaways that I had from these podcasts were, how exercise helps to create our own individual resilience and gird us against the stress and anxiety that we might be feeling right now, but as well facilitates and fosters connection with others and creates community connection. So on the resilience side first, for those who know me, I'm a bit of a fitness nut. I love exercise. I realize that it makes me a better and nicer person to be around. So this might have been preaching to the choir, but for those of you who don't have any type of, practice of fitness or active movement, maybe you're going to get some good insight. So one of the most powerful ways that movement can help us is to change those deeply held stories we tell ourselves. Exercise helps to activate what we call a sense of agency. Instead of always being the nail where things happen to us, we are the hammer. We are the ones who are in control. It really builds that sense of effectiveness and ability and resilience. And the reason this happens is when you move with intensity, with endurance, and with presence, it activates a feedback loop within the brain. So the body starts saying, you can do this. I am powerful. I am strong. I am graceful, whatever the stories the body is telling. And the mind starts responding with, oh, yes, that's actually true. So counteracting whatever potential narratives might be going through your brain of, weakness or tiredness or I can't do this. When the body acts and does, it actually counteracts those stories that we tell ourselves in our brain. So the technical term that Kelly referred to with respect to this is proprioception. It's the direct feedback loop of the body saying you can and your mind saying, hey, that's actually true. So what was actually also interesting in the podcast as I listened to them was the fact that scientists have started doing more studies into the human musculature system, our muscle system, not just our organs, but our muscles, and our muscles themselves act as endocrine organs. So our endocrine organs are those that secrete healthy chemicals or any chemicals within our body, hormones within our body. So muscles, when activated, act as endocrine organs and secrete those healthy chemicals that scientists have started calling hope molecules. So they basically counteract stress and act as natural antidepressants. But you get out what you put in. So the big takeaway was, not just walking and, watching the latest episode of Schitt's Creek or whatever it is on the treadmill or just wandering around. You have to put intensity and endurance in to activate the release of these healthy hope chemicals. Interesting point though, Kelly's research, she focused in largely not just on, people who are fitness nuts or, Olympic athletes. She looked at people who have chronic health conditions, chronic pain, illness of a variety of sorts that are long-ranging and definitely impacting physical abilities, individuals with physical limitations. She assessed all of those different kind of bodies and limitations. And the long story short is, you do you. You do what intensity and endurance looks like for your body where it's at, and you will see a benefit with respect to the release of those hormones and improvement in resilience and management of stress and anxiety. So critical right now in what are, anxiety-inducing times. So the second half that I really wanted to lean in on is the power of, collective movement to facilitate connection. So we are, I think, if we're not already there, we're on the brink of what we would call a loneliness epidemic. And so movement can create collective joy. So if you move with a group in time to music, if you move as a group, you create a sense of connection and community. And again, back to what's happening in your body and your brain, what neuroscience scientists have found is that we are really primed to connect. And so when you move as a group, you release endocannabinoids and oxytocin. So again, the chemicals that help facilitate trust, cooperation, and connection. We're less likely to withdraw. We're more likely to engage. We're more likely to be present and to be engaged. So thinking about actually the power of music to connect one another. If you are a leader of teams and you're managing virtually, you can leverage this to keep the connection. So as an example, at the Roundtable, in our monthly ops reviews, before we get down to the brass tacks of reviewing our results and financials, we actually play a song, whatever is our favorite one of that month, and kind of have a little dance party. You can do that virtually. You can do that in a room. But it actually gets us focused in on our group and gets us present on what's important right now. So it's weird times. You're leading virtually. I would say, if that sounds strange, hey, everything is strange right now. Why not mix it up? Give it a try. See if it creates some connection within your group to avoid distancing. And as well on an individual basis, big takeaway is start moving more on an individual basis so that you can, really manage anxiety and create resilience for yourself during some very uncertain times. We've included the links to the podcast in our liner notes. We're also including a link to a list of online gyms or gyms that have gone online that are having kind of community classes over Zoom. And as well, I've shared my own Google Play playlist of up-tempo music. Don't judge me for my musical taste, but if you like it, it's there for you for your enjoyment. That's all for now, my friends. I will be coming to you again soon with another Roundtable replay.